If it had not been for the Lord.
My name is Mabel. Do you want to live a full and purposeful life? Do you want to deal with all the emotions that clog your heart and make you not be the person God has created you to be? Join me every Saturday by 12 to 1 p.m. on Lifecom TV on Living and Loving with Mabel.
No, nothing without you. Without you. You only. Yeah.
Life is made up of choices we make. The choices we make play a major role and determine to a large extent our happiness. Why we do what we do or make the choices we make is largely influenced or dependent on our mindsets, our mental and psychological health, environment, and our circumstances. To make the right relationship choices, I as a person must first establish who I am as an individual and thereafter know what I want. When we think of the kind of persons we want to get married to or spend the rest of our lives with, we often list the qualities we most desire in a partner, which can be termed deal makers. But also we have our deal breakers, qualities that would disqualify someone as a prospective spouse or life partner, regardless of how many other wonderful traits they have. Today on Living and Loving with Mabel, we'll be looking at what relationship deal breakers are and how it largely contributes to helping us make better relationship choices. You're welcome to Living and Loving on Lifecom TV with Mabel. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here to do Life and Loving with you always. Okay, we'll take a very short break. We'll play some music, enjoy ourselves. Like I said, every time you tune into Living and Loving with Mabel, you must come with a pen and a paper to write some things, to jot it down. The Bible says, write the vision down, make it plain so that he that readeth it will run with it. Okay, so when we go on a short break, take that time to get your pen and your paper and come settle down, call up a friend, text someone and tell them to hook up on YouTube or Facebook, Lifecom TV, and we'll start our discussion on relationship deal breakers. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
If it had not been for the Lord.
My name is Mabel. Do you want to live a full and purposeful life? Do you want to deal with all the emotions that clog your heart and make you not be the person God has created you to be? Join me every Saturday by 12 to 1 p.m. on Lifecom TV on Living and Loving with Mabel.
No, nothing without you. Without you.
For you are great, and my heart is full of praise. For you are glorious, there is no one else like you. For you are great, you're the ancient of days. I lift my hands in praise to your name. You're the one who makes my heart sing today. For you are great, and my heart is full of praise. For you are glorious, there is no one else like you. For you are great, you're the ancient of days. I lift my hands in praises to your name.
praises to your name.
Oh God, you're the one who makes my heart sing today.
You're welcome back to Living and Loving with Mabel Briggs. And today we'll be speaking on relationship deal breakers. If you're just joining us, you're on to Lifecom TV. And this is Living and Loving. Like I said before you went on a short break, every time you come to watch Living and Loving, to do you good to have a pen and a paper so that you can jot down relatively important points. And then you can go back on it and then ask the Holy Spirit to expatiate more on it. Like I said, today we're going to talk about relationship deal breakers. Last week we talked about the right reasons for us to get married. The previous week before that, we talked about wrong reasons to get married. I've been doing a lot of relationship talks, and it's very important. And the reason why is because I've seen and I've counseled a lot of people that are going through a lot of relationship issues, and they all fall around this area. And I've realized that sometimes for us to really get the desired change that we need, we have to first check inwardly, and we always have to come back to ourselves as a person and start to redefine who we are, start to realign our character, recharacterize ourselves, like I would say, and our personalities, and just try to make ourselves better people. And then now go out there and now connect yourself with someone else and see how well you have been able to upgrade or gain enough knowledge to transform your life. So transformation always comes from within. It always starts from you. If you're in a relationship and the person keeps on complaining that there's something wrong, you on your own just go back and try to find out what is it that I am doing wrong, so that you can take responsibility for your actions, and then you can find those things that you probably are doing that you need to adjust, and then you can be a better person. Every time we go back into retrospect into our lives, it's so that we can become better people. It's not so that we're not judging you, we're not asking you to take responsibility for the whole world. We're just saying everyone has times where they probably have done one thing or the other that they shouldn't have done, and you probably don't know. But always start with yourself. Always start with yourself. Go in, check your life, and see if there are some things you probably need to readjust, if there are some things you need to unlearn, if there are some things that you need to relearn, so that you can be the best version of who God has created you to be. Okay, so this is Living and Loving with Women as always, and this is a wonderful Saturday afternoon. We're live on Facebook right now, so you can always catch us on Facebook every Saturday by 12 to 1 p.m. We're also live on YouTube, so go to our YouTube channel, Lifecom TV. When you get there, you do two things for me. You will like the channel, and then you press the subscription button, and when you do that, don't forget to press the bell, so that when we have subsequent recordings or subsequent programs coming up, you will be alerted and you can always be part of the show. Okay, like I said, it's a live show, so we also have phone lines that you can call into. So please call into the phone lines. You can send a text, you can send the WhatsApp. The numbers are scrolling right down on the screen, so get that number. If you need to call for counseling, you just need someone to talk to. This life, we can't do it alone. That's the honest truth. We need each other. And then again, you also need someone that is seasoned to be able to counsel you. So if you need to talk, you just want to talk. I've been there where people just call me and shout and scream and sometimes cry, and I'm just at the end of the line and just waiting for them to get themselves back, and all do just say that it will be better. Sometimes you just need to hear a word of encouragement so that you know that you're not doing this all alone. Trust me, I've been through that time where if only I could just have someone that will call me and say, I am here for you, it would have gone a long way. So if you need someone to talk to, you need someone to run something by, you want to make sense of a situation in your marriage or in your relationship that you probably have no knowledge of, you can always send me a text or a WhatsApp, or you can call. The numbers are scrolling down the screen. You can also reach me. You can send me a direct message on my Facebook account. My name on Facebook is Mabel Briggs. So just go there, send me a direct message, and I will respond to you as soon as I can. And then we can, talk and solve the problem. Okay. So we're talking about deal breakers. Deal breakers are qualities we should look out for that help us, aid us in eliminating our options, choices when it comes to relationships. Last week, we talked about the right reasons to get married. And then the other week, we talked about the wrong reasons. Deal breakers are very, very important. Very important. And I will tell you why in a minute. Okay? We have different qualities we would like to see in a potential partners. Don't mind anyone that keeps on telling you, oh, you have high standards. You should have high standards. You should have high realistic standards, not unrealistic standards, but high standards, because you are valued, you're premium. God has placed you on a premium pedestal. And so you must have high standards. God has high standards. He has high standards of you, and he expects better things of you. And so you must also exhibit those things and also want someone that will come of a high standard, or on the same level, or even higher. I will reel out a couple of mine as we go along the show, but don't listen to anyone that says your standards are too high. No, don't say that. As long as you have looked at it, you have been able to understand what you're doing, and you know that they are not unrealistic, they are realistic, then just keep to it, because it helps you a great deal. It helps you to eliminate. It helps you not to waste your time. It is very important to have deal breakers. I cannot overemphasize it. Professor Gregory Webster, I'm going to be doing a lot of quotings from people that I've studied. Professor Gregory Webster, an associate professor of psychology at the University of Florida, he explained that a lot of times, just by avoiding negative traits, people will probably be fairly well off, maybe even well off, than if they were trying to optimize best potential partners. I'm sure you understand what that is. Because if you have a partner and you just want to optimize his best, you want him to be more than who he is, you will waste your time, because that's not who this person is. You have a standard and you want to bring him up to that standard. It will take time. You can do it, but then it wastes your time. You really waste your time, other than you having a standard and then eliminating all the options and all the choices that come to you. That's faster. Okay, deal breakers are relative, meaning that it differs from individuals. So what I will term as my deal breakers, or what I will list out as my deal breakers, are probably not what you would list out as your deal breakers. Okay, so it's relative. So in saying that, I was saying don't copy from A and add to yours, except that you've objectively chosen that. Or don't say, oh, this sister is doing this, let me just do the same thing. You must have a conviction in your heart that these are the things, these are the qualities that you want in a life partner. Okay, I've heard a lot of women suggest that men don't have deal breakers, and I laugh. I laugh a lot, and please don't let them deceive you. Trust me, don't let them deceive you. They might not tell you the qualities they settle for, but the truth is that men have deal breakers. And surprisingly, studies have shown that there are a higher percentage of men who keep to their deal breakers than there are women. And in a bit, I'll show you why. Okay, men keep to their deal breakers. You see a guy, he's your friend, he's probably checking you out. He's probably checking out the things that he's always prayed to God about that he wants in a woman. And the moment you don't meet it, he friend zones you, and that's the end. Or some people that are, that are not true to themselves, or have ulterior motives, probably might not friend zone you, but because they already know at the back of their mind that I'm not going to spend the rest of my life with this person, so they decide, you know what, she has her uses, let me just use her for what she can give to me for the time being, pending when I find the person that has all the qualities that I need. And trust me, I know that a lot of guys do that. And if you're watching me, yes, I am exposing some of you, you know, that's what you do. And I don't think it's right, okay? If you meet a girl, a lady, and you probably don't see some of the things in her that you always prayed for, it's better to just be friends and don't take advantage of that person. Don't do that. Don't do that. If your friendship entails you doing some things together and both of you have an understanding, it's fair. But if you have at the back of your mind, you have a motive that, okay, you know what, she doesn't meet my standard, but then let me not let her go. I need her for other things. If that's your motive, if that's your intent, I advise you not to do it, because you see, the truth is that God is not mocked. God is a just God. Okay? So let's quickly run through some of these deal breakers, you know, before we go to the crux of the matter. So common deal breakers for women. And, you know, this is from my own point of view and from friends and people that I've been able to talk with and relate with. So lying. Some people don't, it's a no-no for them. For guys that lie, they don't even want it. Even guys, they don't want ladies that lie. Cheating should even be number one. But the truth is that if you cheat, you will lie. So they go hand in hand. Stealing, a wife beater. And in this 21st century, even a man beater these days, we have women that do that. Already have a child. Some people don't even want that. It's a jailbreaker for them. I have a friend that she had a child out of wedlock, and many years down the line, I think the girl was around 12 when she finally met someone that she liked. Incidentally, I was the one that hooked them up together. Okay, because I used to know the late wife of the guy. She passed on, and so this other lady, she was a colleague at work, and she was a nice, beautiful girl. She had a good heart, and my friend then, I was like, he was always coming to visit me. After his wife passed on, he still popped into the office from time to time. And then one day, I just thought about it. I said, these two can just, you know, let's see what we can do with two of them. And then I hooked them up. And then all of a sudden, 2 months down the line, they were hitting it off real good. And then I asked her one thing. I said, have you told him that you have a child? And she said no, that she's afraid that if she does tell him, he probably will run away. But I said, but then you don't want to take the choice. You don't want to steal that choice from him. He must make that choice for himself. He must have that conviction. You want to get married, and at the end of the day, you now spring it up in marriage, and then he terms you a liar. You don't want to fight that battle. It's better you expose all that needs to be exposed now. I think you guys are serious, and you've got to the point where you have to now say this to him. She didn't say it. So, but because I had to take responsibility for bringing two of them together, I had to speak to my friend, because I didn't want to see where he finds out and then he blames me. And I says, okay, there's something that I'm sure she hasn't told you, but she's getting around to. She just getting an inner strength and the will to tell you. But I will tell you, because I have to take responsibility for this. If anything happens, I don't want you to get angry. And so I said, she had a child way back. That child is almost 18 or so, but that child right now is like 23. She has a child, and he was like, wow. I said she was going to tell you, but of course the relationship had to progress, and she had to know that it was going somewhere for her to open up to you. But I had to tell you, and she doesn't know I'm telling you, but she will still come. He said, okay, that he was now trying to, and I said, no, you don't do that. You don't do that, because then I gave him reasons why, you know, there's nothing wrong in it and all that. She eventually told him, and for like 2 weeks, you know, they had a break from the relationship because, you know, he wanted to think about it. She'll come to work with her eyes red, crying that he's abandoned me. I told you. I said, is it not better that you know now and you deal with this situation now than you get into marriage and then, you know, we start having these issues? If that's his deal breaker and he doesn't want it, then it's okay. We move on with our lives. It doesn't end there, sweetheart. It doesn't end there. Eventually, she came back to work one day with a big smile on her face, telling me that he's back, and you know, today they are married. They have 2 wonderful kids, and they're going on strong and great. Okay, so Some people, having a child is an issue for them. They probably don't want to go into a marriage where there's already an existing child. And so that could be someone's deal breaker. This one will make you laugh. Mother is alive. Mother-in-laws is someone's deal breaker. Yeah, they don't want their mother-in-law to be alive. And I wonder why. Workaholic, lazy, stingy, anger, cries too much, doesn't cry at all, is not sensitive to his emotions, is not in touch with his emotions, negative attitude, lives with his parents and is so attached with his parents, bad breath, mommy's boy. There's so many deal breakers. I'll just round out some for men. Haven't spoken to a couple of men. Some of their deal breakers is they don't like women that smoke. They don't like ladies that are codependent. We're going to treat that topic very soon. There are ladies that are attached to you emotionally. They are needy. They can't do without having a relationship with someone. So the moment they leave one relationship, they're moving to the next. They need to survive in a relationship. They can't survive on their own. And these are largely people that are going through, that have been abandoned. So they're going through abandonment issues. So it's a topic that we're going to deal, we're going to break it down. Some men don't like too independent women. It's a deal breaker for some. Some men don't like women that are always fussy about their looks and are too materialistic. Know it all. Those that are possessive, dumb women who don't have, don't stimulate them intellectually, women who can't support themselves, jealousy, bad teeth, can't cook. Okay, not saying what they want, expecting them to figure things out by themselves. So these are some of the deal breakers this does not exhaust it all, but having spoken to some guys, these are some of the deal breakers, they've said that, they watch out for in ladies that they're about to go into a relationship with, and if they possess some of these things or all of them, it's a no for them. Okay, so amongst many others, sadly, there are some women who don't have deal breakers. And it's sad, like I said at the beginning, and these are women, who are desperate. Women that feel that, I believe this lie, that because they have gotten to a point in their lives where they have been abandoned. A lot of things have happened to them. They feel devalued. They've devalued themselves in their eyes. Nobody is devalued in the sight of God. So the devil has told them that they are nothing. They can't amount to anything. And so because they've believed this lie so much, what they do is that they eventually just settle for anything that comes their way. And so anyone that comes, I've heard people say, just give me anything now, Mary. And I said, you don't stop saying that, because you really don't want anything. If I bring you someone that is handicapped now, you would say you don't want it. So don't say you want anything or you will settle for anything. You need to know what you want. You must be specific about what you want, because that's how you will be able to eliminate and know who is coming to you. The truth is that if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for everything. So if a guy comes and people just keep on coming, you find out that you would have entered into multiple relationships. You would have probably have messed up your emotions. And at the end of the day, you've not settled for any. You've probably settled for all. And you're just confused and at the state that you're in. So you must have deal breakers. These are what deal breaks do for you. They help you to eliminate. So we're going to go into some of the advantages of having deal breakers. It helps you save time. And I said it at the beginning. It separates the wheat from the shaft. Okay, so for instance, if you have a if your deal breaker is not to eventually get married to someone who is already married or was once married, then you don't waste your time accepting dates from married or divorced men. You don't waste your time. So if one of your deal breakers is, I don't want to get married to someone that was once married as a single lady, and then a guy that probably is widowed or divorced comes to you, the moment you know he was like that, you just politely just decline, so that you don't waste your time. If there's some of us at the age of 40, 40 into our 40s and 45, we don't have that time to waste. Maybe the younger ones do have the time, but we don't. We don't have that time. We're already, you must get to the point where you know what you want. You don't sample everything and then settle for one. No, that's not how relationships are supposed to be. Imagine if you sample everyone. And when I mean sampling, this our 21st century sampling, as in people sample, and I will go deep down. People do all sorts. You go into intimate, emotional, physical relationships with people. Some people do it as many as 10, 20, 30. And trust me, these are realistic figures. Some people can write down 30 names of 30 guys or ladies, or 40, 50 sometimes, as the case may be, of people that they have had intimate sexual relationships with and never ended up with them. So imagine, you go through all that list and names and lines of people, and then you eventually now want to settle for one. I wonder how that is going to work. Because there'll be so many bases of comparison. You're going to be comparing so much in everything, in every aspect, in every area of your marriage. You're not going to enjoy the best of your marriage. The way God intended marriage to be is for you to find that one person that you finally picked and God has vetted on. And then you guys come together and you discover things for yourself. You discover, you customize your marriage. You come in agreement. You agree on this. You agree on that. You agree on every aspect of your marriage. When it comes to even the intimate part, and that's the sex part, two of you discover and find out how it fits you and how you make it, how you make love. You customize it to your marriage. So imagine if you've had that long list of sexual partners. You're going to be comparing at every point. You will be comparing the size, the everything, not to go too become too vulgar. You will compare every single thing and you will not have peace. It will rob you of your peace. It will rob you of your joy. It will rob you of your happiness. And so that's why we're saying you don't need to date everybody. You just need to date that one person that meets the standard that you have set up for. And eventually when you pray about it, God gives you the peace about it to go ahead. That's just the one person you need. You don't need everyone. You don't need to sample. You don't need everyone. Because by the time you sample and your dignity is robbed of you, eventually when the guy comes that you settle down with, there'll be so much issues. There'll be distrust. There'll be a lot of things. You'll be dealing with so much. And, the guy will just be paying for the sins of the many others that have hurt you. So you don't need to do this to yourself. So it is very important. It saves you time and energy. It keeps you focused on what really matters so that you don't waste your emotions on just anyone and everybody, and you don't settle for less. It's very important. When writing these things out, you must be very objective about it. You must be very objective. You must be very realistic about it. But then you must put the standard that God has placed on you into consideration too. It is very key. The truth is that when you eventually have this and guys come, you eventually find that one that meets 50 to 60% of it. And then you're fine. And then you look at the other areas. If there are things that you guys can, they're not character issues, but they're just issues that probably come about as a result of situational circumstance, and so you can prayerfully overcome. Very key, very important. Having a deal breaker is like having a vision and a goal statement. If you're an entrepreneur, it helps you stay on track. And decisions that you make in line with these deal breakers take you further to achieving your goals and your expectations. It's very important. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you work in a company that has a vision and a vision statement, they would have goals and they will have objectives towards achieving it. And so if you already have a picture of the kind of marriage that you want, of the kind of home that you want. You will also have a picture of how the kind of person that can help you together achieve that vision. That's what deal breakers basically is. Okay, when you have a deal breaker and actually keep to it, it speaks highly of you. That you're a person who knows what they want and they don't settle for less. It speaks highly of you. Like I said, guys like deal breakers. Guys like this. I read a story recently. I'm going to ask the author to. It's an story. She did it in different chapters. I'm going to ask her if I can share on my page so that people can read it. There was this girl that liked this guy. She was in love with this guy. And she had several abortions for him. I think she had like 7 or so. And she was like, you know what? I'm stuck with him. You know, he has to eventually marry me because, you know, I've had 7 abortions. I don't even know if I'll be able to have children later on in life. And I don't want even to risk the fact that, you know, if I don't get married to him and get married to someone else, I might not be able to have kids. So she's stuck in there, even when, and didn't even recognize at some point that the guy was over her and was moving on. Okay? And eventually, he started dating someone else. And she was distraught. And see what even made her more distraught was when she found out that the person who was dating was a virgin. And he dated that person for 2 years. Meaning that he did not have sexual knowledge of the new person he was going out with. But for her, they were dating for like 5 years while they were in school and outside a year after school. And he slept with her almost every other day. You know, the funniest thing was that she now even offered herself to him. Even while he was dating that other one, he offered herself to him for sex. Because she just felt that he would need sex. And if he does need sex, he can get it from me. And if he gets it from me long enough, he will just probably feel that he needs to be with me instead of her. It is sad. It broke my heart. But the truth is that people like structure. They like when there's structure in an organization. And I dare say people like when people stand for something. So if you're a lady listening to me and watching me and looking at me, or, you know, maybe probably on radio, that guy probably would want you to keep yourself. It's when you decide not to, he takes advantage. But if you stand your ground, he would either stay with you or he would leave. But if trust me, he would stay because he feels that there's something of value in you that he doesn't mind chasing to find out. Men like the chase. So women, allow yourself to be chased. Don't give in too early. Allow them to do the hunt. They're like lions. They like to hunt for their prey. So allow them to do the hunt. Let them hunt you. Let them feel that there's something, there's a treasure in you that they need to discover. And keep the suspense going for as long until he's ready to commit. Don't open up at the first, say hello, how are you? And then you're on his bed with legs open. No. Get yourself emotionally healthy so that you will value yourself. You treasure yourself. You place a premium on yourself like the way God has placed the premium on you. And so that you won't settle or give in just at the slightest nudge or pressure or touch. It's very key, ladies. You see ladies do this and you wonder what's even so special. What's special is because that person is keeping herself. She's keeping to her values. She's keeping to her deal breakers. And she's not backing down. She's not backing down. Oh, do we get faint? You know, do we worry? Do we get worried because we're waiting too long? Yes, we do get worried. But we go back to the word of God that encourages us to keep at it and keep going. That in due time, we'll reap our reward. In due time. And then when you get yourself busy doing things, achieving goals, finding your purpose, you won't even know when time passes you by. Because you are active. You are affecting lives. You're winning souls for God. You're using what you're doing to teach others to do the same. That's purpose right there. So don't sell yourself short or sell yourself cheap. Okay, we'll go on a short break. We'll listen to some music, take time to relax and take all that we've said in, and then we'll be right back to continue the show. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
I don't know what you have to do without God. Just ask your neighbor, waiting I for do without God. Now ask somebody, waiting I for do without God. Imagine that Jesus didn't die. You. Now you, only you. Now you, I know. With no roof, and without you, I go be like pride where no got any groom. And without you, I forgot by I go turn mumu. I can't live, I can't be without you. I can't sleep, can't wake without you. I can't be, I can't live without you. I cannot sleep, cannot wake without you, because everything. Simple. There you go. Now only you. Hey, whoa. Can we try it? Come on, let's go. Say. Pico. Now only you. Hey, whoa. Come on, we're doing well this morning. Baba, now you one more time. Baba. Pico. I know that's nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. Your love for me, your grace to me. go turn mumu. I can't live, I can't be without you. I can't sleep, can't wake without you. I cannot be, cannot live without you. I know if sleep, no believe without you. Because everything,
Now you,
anything I do,
now you,
even when I want enjoy,
now you,
when I want to cry,
now you,
and when I fall yakata,
now you,
and when I stand giddy up,
now you,
giddy, 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 giddy. Ah, now you, oh,
now you, because
now only you.
only you,
And I son of a way. It's time for love away. Now only you. Hey, one more time. Say, Baba, now you, oh. Yeah, now only you. Oh, now only you. Oh, oh, Baba, now you, oh. Love will give you good. When I think about the things you do, hey, I love them indeed. Jehovah, now you, oh. Love will give you good. And when I think about the things you do, hey, I love them indeed. Oh, because everything, anything I do, even when I want to enjoy, when I want to cry, and when I fall yakata, now you, and when I stand giddy by, giddy, giddy, giddy. Now you, hey, Baba, oh, now only you, hey, Baba, now you, oh, hey, now only you. Listen, I can't sleep, can't live without you. I can't be, can't live without you. I know if you live, no fi be without you. I know if you live, no fi be without you. You're the source of my life. In a sober way, in a memi fed my oh, Jehovah me, Narakele mo, Narotutome, in a memi fed my oh, Ekele di bigiese, because everything now you, anything I do, even when I want to enjoy, when I want to cry, and when I fall yakata, now you, and when I stand giddy back, kedi, 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 kedi. One more time, see, anything I do, now you, anything I do, even when I cry, when I want to enjoy, hey, and when I fall yakata, now you, and when I stand giddy back, kedi, kedi, kedi. Now you, hallelujah, he's alive.
You're welcome back to Living and Loving with Mabel Briggs. Okay, it's been a wonderful time, wonderful couple of minutes. I have been enjoying and having so much fun. I think because I have deal breakers of my own, and I'm a single 43-year-old lady, and I'm keeping my deal breakers. Yeah, it's tough, it's difficult, but I'm determined to. But maybe because I've experienced marriage before. I was married for 13 years and I've been separated for almost 10 years. And I've noticed, and I've been able to weigh both ends of the stick, and I've realized that the thing that I didn't do well in the first marriage, I was not going to repeat it in the second. And one of the things I know I didn't do was have a standard. Okay, I didn't have deal breakers that I was looking out for. I settled because of the situation that I was in. And it's a burden in my heart to try and help ladies, single ladies, matured singles, single moms, that it's not too late to do things right. The truth is that you cannot keep on doing the same thing the same way all the time and expect a different result. You have to check inward and see where you made the mistake. Ask God to give you insight into it, and then ask him for wisdom on how to do it better, so that you can now have a better result and you will be happy for it. I know people that have had deal breakers, kept to it, got the wonderful man, wonderful lady, and today they are having a fantastic marriage. Not that they won't have challenges, they will. But you see, because they had put these things in place. They had people that they came in contact with, that they married eventually, that had the right values. They had the things that they were looking for, and together with one mind and heart, they're achieving their goals. They are breaking boundaries. They are breaking the odds against them, and they are going to the plans and the purpose that God has for them. And that's what these things are for, and that's why they are very important. So this is Living and Loving with Mabel. We're back from the break, and we've been talking about relationship deal breakers. Okay, and that's what we've been doing. So if you've missed some part of it, I just encourage you to go on Facebook, Lifecom TV on Facebook. You will find this edition, and you can start watching it from the beginning. You can also go on my page, Mabel Briggs, and you'll find this edition of the program, and then you watch it. You can also catch it on our Lifecom channel on YouTube. It's right there. So go there, watch this edition, and watch past editions of different topics that we've talked about. These are the things that people don't talk about anymore in relationships, and it's very important that we know this thing so that we can do things better. Guys, I want you to get married well. I want you to marry. I want you to have the marriage of your dreams. I want you to be happy. I want you to be fulfilled. And these are the things that if you implement and you take time to apply to your own peculiar situation, it will definitely produce for you. So like I said, we've been talking about deal breakers. And I have a lot of people that have asked me the difference between deal breakers, expectations, and boundaries. And I'm just going to identify some of them. They're not the same thing. So I'm just going to define some of them. Expectations are expected value. So in layman terms, they are what you expect or desire from a particular venture. So in the context of marriage, expectations will be what you desire in a husband or a spouse. So these are like your deal breakers, what you expect of them in your marriage. That's in the context of marriage. Now we're talking about expectations, what you expect your husband to be, what you expect your wife to be, what you expect your husband to do, what you expect your wife to do in the context of marriage. Deal breakers are those qualities that help you, that definitely that you cannot live without. So they help you structure and define your marriage, your relationship. They help you define it. They help you eliminate the time wasters. They help you put things into perspective so that you can face headlong what the vision is and have someone that is going in line with the vision that God has given to you so that you can both achieve it. Okay, then boundaries are limits set to keep both parties involved in a relationship in check. So for instance, if you decide that you don't want to have sex before marriage, you have to now set boundaries in place that will help you achieve that. So like you don't want to have sex before marriage, then you now take your overnight bag and go spend the night. It's like dangling a bone in front of a dog and say, here, catch me, catch me. That's what you're doing. So that's what boundaries are. It's putting things in place, setting things in place. Putting a check involved. So if you don't want to have sex before marriage, there are things that you have to put in place. You don't go spend the night at this place. You don't kiss. You don't hug, you don't touch intimately, you probably don't even go as far as having intimate discussions, because there's some people that God is helping us. There's some discussions that we don't engage in. Some people don't even watch films where you have high level of sexual activity happening in it, because you're trying to keep your mind and you're trying to keep yourself from, doing this thing. So these are the boundaries. For me, I like to watch action movies. I love action movies. And as I'm watching the action movie, and then it comes to a place where I see that some action is about to happen. Don't mind me. I'm just having some fun. Some action is about to happen in terms of, intimate sex. I probably just fast forward, or I probably look away, or I probably just do something else. You see, because it helps my state of mind. I don't want to dwell, because I'm celibate. I don't want to dwell on that for too long, because I know that if I dwell on it for too long, it probably will start to give me some take my mind to places where I don't want it to go to. And so I've put boundaries, I've put things in place to help me and to keep me till eventually that right person comes for me. So the truth is that, you see, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to live a good life, to live a disciplined life. It takes a lot of work. It takes deliberate effort, but it pays off eventually. When it's paying off, you're smiling, you're happy that you achieved your aim. It's like you want to write a book, and you've given yourself, you want to write a book in a year, and every day you're sleeping. You're not going to achieve that. So you have to put boundaries in place. Oh, I want to write this book and I want to make sure I don't sleep. I'm not going to write on my bed, because my bed is going to be very welcoming. I can be writing and then I'll doze off. Or like you have an exam and you're ready for your exam. You will get up and go to probably go to a library or go to a proper setting. If I want to work, I can't work on my bed because I'm going to sleep. Bed is for sleeping. So I'm going to sleep. So what I do is I have to go to a proper office setting so that I can achieve. And once I'm sitting on a table and a desk, trust me, all the things that I want to do in terms of work and assignments and all the things that I've penciled down to do, my goals I need to achieve, I will get it done in a sec. I'll get it done in a sec. When I'm on my bed, I will just be too relaxed. So we have to put boundaries in place. We have to put these deal breakers in place so that they can check us, so that they can help us. Okay, it's to help you. It's not to put you in a straight jacket. No, it's to help you. So you must have a mindset that I'm doing these things so that it can help me. At the end of the day, it's for your own good. It's not for my good. It's not for God's good. It's for your good. Okay, it's for your good. Okay, so one thing that we must also know is that love cannot exist without boundaries. So no matter who you're loving, your spouse, your children, your friends, for relationships to work effectively, boundaries must be placed. Any relationship. I have friends that give me boundaries. They might not spell it out, but we're matured. We know that these are my boundaries. These are my boundaries. There's some people that you go to their home, they don't allow you into their bedroom. That's their boundary. They've put that boundary in place. Oh, you can't come this close, or you can't come into my intimate setting, for a time being. Then after a while, as things mature, as two of you progress, then, those boundaries, are removed so that, because the relationship is now becoming more defined. Okay, so these things are for our good, because it ensures our peace, it maintains our dignity, and we have regard and a respect. Last week I talked about regard and respect as one of the reasons why you should get married, one of the right reasons, so you can have regard and respect for one another. It's very, very important. So imagine I find someone finds me attractive tomorrow. Okay, they always find me attractive. I was kidding. and he has high level of regard for me. But then I do something that you're like, oh wow. I have a much higher respect for you now, just knowing these things that you've done. Okay, so this boundaries, deal breakers, they help us. They help us. They are more to help you than actually to mar you. So all these things I've been explaining from the beginning are very critical in the success of a marriage. There are principles that should not be overrated, but should be upheld. But what I've seen most women especially do is eventually get carried away with the romance, the dreams, the excitement, the longings, and people telling them that they have set too high standards. That's why they are still single. And then they collapse all the things. They just crash it down like a pack of dominoes, because of what people have said. The people that are saying that because they can't do what you're doing. They would love to do it, but they don't have the will to do it. They don't have that drive to do it. And so they will talk you down so that you'll get on the boat with them. So I tell my daughter this, don't do it at all. If someone badmouths you because of something that you're doing and you know what you're doing is good and is the right thing, keep doing it. The reason why they are doing it is because they can't do what you're doing. They admire you for what you're doing. They respect you for what you're doing. They're trying so hard to do it, but they can't achieve it. It takes discipline. It takes discipline. And we must go to God always. There's a scripture that I use, that he would strengthen me with might by his spirit in my inner man, that Christ would dwell in my heart by faith. I got to a point where I had to love God more to start to eliminate some little foxes that were spoiling my vine. Oh, I'm going to tell you a couple of my stories very soon. We're progressing, so I need to get to know you better to tell. No, I'm kidding a lot today. I don't know why. I've been joking so much today, I don't have any secrets. People that have been listening to me on radio for years now know my story. So I'm going to be sharing a couple of things with you as we progress on this show. A lot of things I've had to do. There are a lot of things I've done that I shouldn't have, that has totally made me an indisciplined, in human being in the past. But I had to go to God to strengthen me, strengthen my mind, strengthen my heart, strengthen my will, so that I can do the things that he asked me to do, to stay off the things that he wants me to stay off. It's only God that can help you do this. And so today I don't take glory in anything that I'm able to achieve. I don't take glory. I've been celibate for close to almost 10 years. It's not by my might. It's by the power of God. And then, one of my mentors told me something that also helped me. He said, to stop doing these things, you only need to love God more. You only need to chase after God the more. When you spend time in the presence of God and you love God more with all your heart, these things will just fall away from you. Because in the presence of God, darkness cannot comprehend it. There's so much light there. It exposes the inner recesses of your heart. It exposes the things that you don't want. And then it just drops. The more you get closer to the light, the more you advance closer to the light, these weights that are on you, they just drop off naturally. You just find out that you're loving God more. So don't focus. Someone's asked me, how do I stop masturbation? I've been masturbating and I don't like to masturbate. The easiest way to stop masturbating is pursue after God. Love him more. Love him more. Go towards the light. Spend time in his presence. Spend time in his presence. The more you spend time in his presence, you will find out that these things, they'll become, you would avoid. It will become irritating to you. You will drop, it will just naturally drop off you. Because in the presence of God, you cannot find evil. When you go to God, he strips you of all those things. As you continue to pursue God, as you continue to pant after him, as your soul longs for him, you continue to find him, search him out. He starts to empower you to becoming the person that he wants you to be. That's how I overcame it. Oh, I will tell you some of my stories. I was an addict, but God helped me. And today I can't even remember how it even happens. So don't focus on trying to stop it. Instead, focus on loving your God and following after your God and following after purpose, finding your identity, finding what God wants to do with you. and chase after him with the whole of your heart. Spend time in his presence. Just declare his majesty, his sovereignty over your life and everything that concerns you. Give him your body, give him your vessel. Daily lay it on an altar of sacrifice and ask him to kill it and to mold it and to make it and to fill it. And I dare say that every other thing that is in excess that are not of God, it will just drop like flies. And you'll be shocked. You just, many years down the lane, you found out, how did I stop this? Oh, I've stopped this. How did I stop it? It was because you were chasing and you were panting after God. I've been reading a book, Joe Ellen's Demetrius book. It's called Reading People. I encourage you if you're listening. I read a lot. One of the ways I acquire knowledge, and the Holy Spirit also teaches me. The Bible says that the Holy Spirit guides us unto all truth. So sometimes I read some things in a book. I said, I never read this before, but I do it. So how did I do it? It's the Holy Spirit that has led you to that truth and is teaching you. Okay. The Bible says that my people will be taught of the Lord, and great to be the peace of your children. In righteousness they will be established. Okay, it says it is human nature to close our eyes and our minds to the things that are uncomfortable or disturbing. Okay, Leon Festinger coined it cognitive dissonance. One symptom of cognitive dissonance is a person's refusal to accept the obvious because it gives you an uncomfortable feeling thinking about it or admitting to yourself that this person is wrong. This person is wrong for you because you have invested your emotions too early into the relationship. Okay, and that's what we're talking about in terms of deal breakers. So, you find the feeling just letting this person go very uncomfortable. You find it very disturbing. Even when you know that this person doesn't meet some of the standards that you have placed for yourself. But you can't let him go because you feel that, I'm getting too old. Or I've had sex with him once and, he's taking some of my dignity and I will lose my respect or something. And then it's very uncomfortable thinking about it. You just decide, you know what? I'm just going to throw everything away, everything I've always worked for and longed for, and just follow this one. And at the end of the day, you find out that you know you're making a mistake, but you can't even accept the wrong that you're doing. Okay? So we've been looking at deal breakers. And I started with something in my introduction. I said you must know who you are, know your purpose for being on this earth, know what you want out of life, and know what you want to achieve. You set your goals, you write your vision plain. That's what your deal breakers and boundaries help you to achieve. So when you have your deal breakers, after you've set your deal breakers, then you set your boundaries. It's very important. Everyone does it. They might not tell you they are doing it, but they do. If you sit down with someone that really knows who she is, or sit down with someone that knows who he is and what he wants, he probably on his phone or on his journal has some list of things that he's written out. Everybody does it. They've spent time meditating on it so much that they know it at the back of their minds. And so when someone comes and they're not just opening their phone and say, okay, let me see. Tick, no, they're ticking it in their brains. Okay, no. And if they've ticked over 80% of it, we can, in their mind, they just decided and resolved that we can only just be friends. Okay. And I want to, because we're daily transformed by the Spirit of God, I want to say that people change. And that's the honest truth. People change. And God can transform you. God can change you, change your mindset. He can change your character. He can recharacterize you. He can change your personality, and people change. Okay? And so you will start to exhibit a changed behavior, and that comes from the renewing of your mind. When you allow your mind to be renewed. So if you feel that, I've been at the end of the rejection stick before, and if you probably cannot ask the person, why didn't I make this cut? Go back to God and ask, what's wrong? What do I need to adjust in my life? What are those gray areas that I probably need to do better in? And the Holy Spirit is very, very, very reliable. He will bring your mind to these things, and he will also tell you how to go about it when you spend time asking questions and sincerely wanting to be better. He will tell you how to go about it. He will tell you what to do. He will even guide you part-time. When you're about to make those mistakes again, he will come and he will drop a scripture in your heart, or he will drop a picture of something you've done before, and he will remind you so that you can quickly adjust, so that you don't make the same mistake. But even when you do, and you go back to him in all honesty, ask God for mercy, he still continues to guide you. And this is all to you becoming that person that he already sees you and knows you are. The Bible said that before the beginning of the world, he knew you. It means that you existed even before you existed. Before you knew who you are, you existed in the mind of God. You existed in the presence of God, and God knew you. He created you for something mega, something massive, something big, something great. Okay? And so he all he's trying to do is get you back on that track to becoming, to greatness. And you will go back to him when you get confused about what to do or what not to do. So like I said, in setting up these deal breakers, you must be really and really objective in your reasoning. You must know what you want. You must know what you want. You must know, and to know what you want, you must know who you are. So you know who you are, you find your identity in Christ, you know what you want, what you're called to do. And then you now find out who can help you achieve this vision. Together, you can achieve this vision. And then you start to break it down like that. I say, oh, I want someone this. I want someone that is a God lover. I want someone that is giving. I want someone that is focused. I want someone that is a lover of men, lover of people, someone that has the fear of God. These are all deal breakers. They're all deal breakers. So that when someone comes and you see that this person lacks the fear of God, you know that that's a no-no. And then it must be the most important one, and then it declines like that. The person must know God, must be connected to, must have a walking, that's how I call it, must have a walking relationship with God. The walk and the walk must be in that relationship with God. It must be a walking relationship with God. And I will know it when I give relationship, when I give it the time, when I look at his patterns, I can tell. And when I look at those patterns and I see that they're consistently negative, then I know that this is not the person for me. And if I decide to jump in it, I will know that I'm doing myself more harm than good. Okay. So if you're listening and just join me, we're rounding up the show now. I want you to go back on YouTube, go back on Facebook, and listen to the wrong reasons why people get married, to the right reasons why people get married, and then this deal breaker. Trust me, it's like a sequel. You need to listen to the three of them together so that it will help you. If you're fresh into relationships, it's a fantastic time for you to start to do things right. If you're in a relationship, you probably made too many mistakes. It's also a fantastic time for you to start to do things better. If you're almost getting into marriage, it's also a fantastic time for you to start to know what you're doing and what you're getting into. If you're in marriage, it is the right time to start to reorder your life, your personality, your character, to glorify God. So there is always a right time. Like I said, if you're hearing this message now, you're hearing at the right time. If you're hearing this message in the next 3 years, you're definitely hearing at the right time. God will meet you where he wants your transformation to start. Okay, it's been a wonderful Saturday evening. I've had so much fun talking to you. I have learned always when I speak, I learn things. I learn new things. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to go back to my journal and take notes of some things that the Holy Spirit has even taught me while I was talking to you. And I really pray for you that indeed that you will start afresh with God, and God will guide you along the best path for your life. He said he will guide you along the best path for your life. He will daily watch over you. He will ensure that you will be fruitful in your land. God loves you. I love you. Until same time next week, remember that transformation is an inside job. Have a blessed evening.
If it had not been for the Lord.
My name is Mabel. Do you want to live a full and purposeful life? Do you want to deal with all the emotions that clog your heart and make you not be the person God has created you to be? Join me every Saturday by 12 to 1 p.m. on Lifecom TV on Living and Loving with Mabel.
Now nothing without you, without